Let's take a journey back to a 3D beat-em-up that is no longer in the public eye. A title that seems to have somewhat faded into the nostalgia background, and why one game punched its way into our collective consciousness. Fighting Force. If you ever found yourself lost in the sheer, unadulterated pleasure of clearing screen after screen of thugs with your bare digital hands, then today, we're not just talking about a game, we're remembering the joy and the visual satisfaction and the unique place this title holds in our gaming past. Now, before I re-immerse ourselves into the glorious chaos of its gameplay, let's cast our mind back to Fighting Force's rather legendary origin story. You see, this wasn't just another brawler that appeared on our shelves, it carried with it a whisper of what could have been, a tantalising glimpse into an alternative gaming history. Developed by the talented folks at Core Design, the very same minds who gave us the early Tomb Raider adventures.
You'll notice that there's quite a difference between Tomb Raider 1 and 2. But wait until you see my third game. Check out the rolling demo, and you'll soon see that Tomb Raider 3 is by far the most exciting adventure yet. Most of you are probably thinking that I'll have new outfits to wear, vehicles to drive, and of course new locations to explore.
Fighting Force was initially conceived with a truly ambitious vision to continue the legacy of a beloved Sega franchise. That's right, if you recall the whispers from the time, Fighting Force was actually at one point pitched to Sega as a potential Streets of Rage 4. The story, as many of us remember it, and as authenticated by historical accounts from the game's development, suggests that while Sega was indeed interested in Core Design's vision for a 3D brawler, they ultimately chose to explore their own internal ideas for the Streets of Rage series. So, Core Design, ever the innovators, took their fantastic 3D brawler concept, polished it, refined it, and unleashed it upon the world as Fighting Force. And honestly, while the idea of a Core Design Streets of Rage 4 sparks incredible what-ifs, what we received ultimately was a phenomenal experience in its own right, a true spiritual successor to the brawling titans of yesteryear, embedded with its own distinct identity. We didn't get Streets of Rage 4 for 25 years after the third iteration, and it was no longer a Sega IP. Instead, developers .emu, Lizard Cube, Guard Crush, and 7 Studio took the franchise into a new direction, and they did an excellent job. When I look back, what was Fighting Force truly about? It was about that pure, unadulterated rush that you can imagine from a gritty street of beatdowns of Final Fight and explosive character-driven action from Streets of Rage having a robust, energetic baby in a third dimension that their offspring would undoubtedly become the Fighting Force game. It took that classic walk right, punch everything formula and injected it with a thrilling new layer of immersion and interactivity that felt groundbreaking at the time. You took the charge of stepping to the shoes of one of 4 distinct personalities, each offering their own memorable way to crack heads. There was the dependable, ill-rounded duo of Hawk and Mace, always solid choices to jump in to start the mayhem. Then a character who probably stole the show from many of us, Smasher, a truly hulking powerhouse with every punch feeling like it resonated through the controller. Pure expression of raw, satisfying might. Playing as Smasher felt like a cathartic experience. You just knew when his meaty fist connected to those bad guys, they were staying down for good. And those who preferred a more agile, evasive approach, Alana offered lightning fast strikes and nimble movements, changing the dynamic of every encounter. The joy of picking your brawler, understanding their unique strengths and seeing how it altered your approach to each stage, it was a core part of the fun. The combat is the main focus of Fighting Force, and that's where Fighting Force truly etched itself into our memories. It wasn't just about frantic button mashing. There was a wonderful tactical, almost rhythmic flow to the fights, and I really appreciated it. The enemies often approached in a manageable number, allowing you to engage in calculated dance of fists and feet. I mastered those basic attack combos, leading to immensely satisfying grapples that allowed me to do powerful close range beatdowns. Need to create some breathing room or disarm a pesky foe? I quickly learned the utility of holding the run button for a swift aerial attack, sweeping enemies off their feet and often leaving their weapons vulnerable. Plus each character packed a powerful special attack, a devastating move that cost a sliver of health. But oh how satisfying it was to unleash when surrounded. I remember how Hawk with his virtually unlimited grapple options felt like an absolute force, even against the toughest bosses. But what truly made Fighting Force stand out among the other brawlers was its incredible interactive environments and the sheer delightful array of weapons at our disposal. The game was a playground of destruction. Practically anything you could see could be picked up and repurposed as a makeshift instrument of justice. Baseball bats, knives, pipes, chairs, even entire phone booths, and the sheer audacity of pulling the whole running off a wall to use as a club. The sheer thrill of grabbing a discarded fire extinguisher and using it to bash a foe, or picking up a pistol and unloading a clip into a charging enemy, was a core part of the game's appeal. It consistently shifted the flow of combat, encouraging us to adapt and creatively utilise our surroundings. And it wasn't just about grabbing things. I remember the pure chaos of smashing almost anything and everything, from vending machines to emergency cases and lampposts. If it was there, I could probably break it. And it wasn't just for show. It added a fantastic layer of chaotic fun. I loved how it contributed to the destruction bonus that will pop up on screen, literally rewarding our wanton acts of environmental demolition with extra continues. It was a brilliant incentive that just edged us to cause more delightful mayhem. Exhilarating. The journey through Fighting Force's urban landscape was a memorable one. We began our adventure in the gritty, familiar streets of New York, passing through skyscraper construction sites, descending into the dark graffiti-laden subway tunnels, and even clearing out dangerous parks. The atmosphere felt thick and tangible, truly immersing us into the urban sprawl. But just when I thought I'd seen it all, the game threw a fantastic curveball about halfway through. I encountered a crucial branching path, offering a choice that dramatically altered the levels and enemies that I would face next. This wasn't just a simple detour, it was a clever design choice that greatly enhanced the replayability and kept us coming back for more. It would ultimately lead us from grounded urban warfare into a surprising, exhilarating sci-fi spectacle, fighting through high-tech air and naval bases against an entirely new roster of adversaries. From specialised military personnel to imposing robots, this drastic shift kept the experience incredibly fresh and exhilarating, a testament to a game's willingness to involve and surprise. And finally, perhaps the most cherished memory for many of us, the two-player co-op mode. This is where Fighting Force truly ascended to the legendary status into our gaming memories. All the chaotic fun, the satisfying combat and the environmental destruction, it was all magnified tenfold when I shared the screen with a friend. I remember the frantic coordination, covering each other's backs, and the shared relief of clearing a particularly tough wave of enemies, or the triumphant cheer of finally taking down a challenging boss. Huzzah! It wasn't just playing a game, it was a shared experience. A mini arcade session in our living rooms, full of shouts, laughter, and the undeniable magic of conquering challenges as a team. And to feel the feeling of camaraderie and a shared victory truly elevated Fighting Force into something special. So in Pepptrospective, Fighting Force holds a truly unique spot in my games list. It might have started life with a different ambition, but it forged its own path, embracing the transition to 3D with bold confidence that delivered impactful combat, incredible satisfying environmental interactivity, distinct characters, and above all, an unforgettable co-op experience. It's a game that simply understood the core essence of what made beat 'em ups so enjoyable, and that translated that feeling perfectly into their new dimension. For those of us who lived for that era, Fighting Force isn't just a game, it's a collection of vivid memories, a testament to time, where that pure, unadulterated fun was the driving force into our gaming adventures, and that in essence, its enduring legacy. If you haven't played this, dust off your PS1 or N64, grab a friend or a partner, and give this one a go. It's one of the best 3D beat 'em ups, and again, it has aged fairly well. If you have enjoyed this video, please drop a like and maybe subscribe if you want to see more content. Drop a comment if you remember playing Fighting Force, or what your favourite beat 'em up was, and if I've never played it, I might dive into it in a future video. Remember, keep it Pepptro.